Welcome to Winging It. We're doing deck building today in Arkham Horror the card game. I am taking Leo and Jack through Edge of the Earth. These are actually the two investigators I used for my blind run back when I first cracked open the campaign. I thought it would be a nice thematic two explorers. And I could have done also Ursula and Jack. I definitely wanted to play Jack, but Leo is better complementary since we don't have card conflict as much with the two of them. And also, I mean, Leo can run Sled Dogs, and I really wanted to run Sled Dogs, so it seemed like a shoe-in. So I'll go through each of their decks and the investigators. I have played Leo before, so he is he's got Willpower 4, Intellect 3, Combat 4, Agility 1. So I've played Leo on the channel before, so just quick going over him again. He's 4-3-4-1. He has 8 health, 6 sanity. He's a Guardian. He can take Guardian up to level 5. He could take Rogue up to level 2, and of course all the neutrals. He has a free trigger ability. After your turn begins, play an ally asset, reducing its cost by 1. He has an Elder Sign effect of +2. Search the top 3 decks of your cards of your deck for an ally and draw it. Shuffle your deck. So that's Leo. Real powerful, likes allies. He also has Mitch, which if I go, and I'm just going to show this because it does impact the deck building quite a bit. When you get Mitch out, he has 2 additional ally slots which can only be used to hold non-unique allies. The 2 question mark icons, wild icons, are definitely really important, and yeah, he's a solid investigator. So or ally. So let's go through the deck. Obviously, I'm going to be ally heavy with him. And specifically, I want to do non-unique allies, although that will change as I go through. So I have 2 weapons. I have the 45 automatic. That's your old bread and butter. 4 ammo, +1, get +1, +1 attack, +1 damage. It's pretty good. Then we have the rogue weapon, a Mouser, which is similar. It gets 5 ammo instead. And if you succeed by 2 or more, you can ready it or gain 1 resource. So if you don't succeed by 2, you only get 1 shot. So it could be a little bit weak, especially if you're only at 4 combat. But still pretty good weapon. And then I gave him 2 flashlights. My intention is, long term, is for him to take Michael Lee, which will get his intellect up to a 4, and really be able to do some investigating and get clues. So he's not just a combat guy, he's also going to be a cluever guy. So yeah, so we have the flashlight, good old flashlight, again from the core. Cost 2, you can spend supplies, investigate, the trial gets -2. Always a solid option if you're planning to pick up clues. All right. And then we have Lucky Cigarette Case. I'm actually kind of conflicted about this in Leo. It's obviously card draw. If you succeed skill by test by 2 or more, exhaust it and draw 1 card. I actually ran this in my blind run in Leo, and I did not consistently get Lucky Cigarette Case to work. And I was like, man, I wish I hadn't taken Lucky Cigarette Case. And yet here I am doing it again because I really do want draw. The Tekalilis, I just want to be able to get them out and not have them sitting in decks. And of course, draw is good. So rather than not taking Lucky Secret Case, I just tried to make sure that I'm really able to get the boosts. So we can talk about that a little bit. So he is taking Beat Cop. That's old standard, also from the core. 2 health, 2 sanity, get +1 combat. That's really why I'm taking it, is for +1 combat. You can discard it to deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location, but how often do you actually ever do that? The level 2 Beat Cop is great, but these days I usually would take Gret, or in his case, Lonnie. But they're both unique allies, and so, if I just want to play them for the combat boost, the Beat Cop actually works better because they can be played right alongside Mitch. So that's the reason for the Beat Cops. Now, they are going to be upgraded to Michael Lee, who is unique, but at that point, we are going to grab a Charisma. So we can play, Leo plus other stuff. So, all right, we have two medical students. So that's a new card from Edge of the Earth. Health 1, Health Sanity 1. After it enters play, you're going to heal 1 damage, 1 horror from an investigator or ally asset at your location. So I've actually found this to be good. I think it's really good in Leo because a fast 1 to heal a damage and horror is good. Of course, when I played this originally, I got lucky, unlucky probably, but that Jack got the one of the weaknesses in the Edge of Earth that require healing to get rid of, and so I had this to be able to heal it, so it was nice. But I found that actually medical student, you can put it in, um, for 1 fast, and then just calling in favors, you can have a lot of good targets. It can help you get your sled dogs out, and really getting sled dogs out is really important. So being able to put this into play and then calling in favors to get a sled dog, super useful. So or even maybe find Michael Lee, like it's just a good effect. You can get them in cheaply. They can, search your deck and reduce the cost by 2 to find, another ally that you actually want. Yeah, but they're just really solid, and I like them. Um, and then, of course, Mitch Brown, we've already gone over. The 2 wild icons is going to be important because I'm planning to get well prepared, which will let you boost based on icons on assets, on the table. In your, so that 2 wild icons could be used to boost. He could be investigating at a, with Michael Lee out, he can be investigating at a 6. Of course, Michael Lee also has, icons that would help with that. But I mean, he could be, this could help him with the over success, with the combat stuff, help him pass willpower stuff. Get him to a 6 on willpower, 5 on intellect. Really good if we can get well connected and Mitch Brown out. So sled dogs, you can include up to 4 copies, which I have done, and 2 sled dogs take up a single ally slot. So with Mitch Brown out, you can run all 4 sled dogs, which is nice. With charisma, you can run all 4 sled dogs. Really solid for Leo. I think other investigators or decks have struggled to get them out. Although I've seen, there's also the Rod of Animalism that lets you run, multiple slots for allies or for animals. But actually, I don't think Leo needs it. I think Leo just prefers Charisma. And the fact that he gets the discount, like the cost 3 and the action to put these down is pretty tough. But him being able to do it fast makes it really good in him. I also think they can be good in Yorick, and he can do similar tricks. He doesn't get the cost discount to put them into play, but he can get the action cost because he can put them in when he kills stuff. But what I found is really good is once you have 2 of these out, even just 2 of these out, like you can just save ammo, and if you miss with your mouser, that's fine. You can just I had all these reload events and for the weapons, and I find I didn't need them because most of the time I do a damage with sled dog, kill a 2 health enemy, and if I needed to kill a 4 health enemy, all right, well then I take a shot with one of my weapons. It was actually worked out pretty good. So I'm probably going to stick with one-handed guns for that reason, and so I can keep running my flashlights. All right, Safeguard is, it's a great asset. It's the level 0 version, cost 2, and then you can just move after another move. Investigator goes to a location, you can go in with them. Really great because Jack is going to be bouncing all over the place. So I'd really like to actually have this upgraded to the level 2, which you can just keep going, through that investigator's whole turn, but still really solid. So we have our permanents here. We have Karen's Obel. So originally I was going to take Charisma with my In the Thick of It XP, which I guess I'm getting this out of order, but we're starting with 3 XP. I am putting 2 of that into Karen's Obel. This is just a permanent exceptional. It just stays on the table and you get 2 additional experience, but if you're ever defeated, you're killed. So he just can't be defeated. But he's really tanky. I think it won't be a problem. And I really originally put In the Thick of It in to get a charisma, but I'm thinking that, if I can just make it through the first scenario, then, after that, I'm going to really appreciate getting the extra, 2 experience over, than I would have had. So speaking of In the Thick of It, we have a limit 1 per deck, purchase deck creation. When you purchase it, you suffer 2 total physical and or mental trauma. I'm taking 1 of each, and then you earn 3 experience. So that's what I use to get Karen's Obel, which will pay back next scenario. I'm actually saving 1 experience so that I can so that because I just don't need to spend one experience on a card, so I'll just have an extra experience no matter what happens in the next scenario. So that's good. All right, so I did get calling in favors. That's a pretty key part of this deck. So you choose an ally asset you control, return it to your hand, and search the top 9 cards of your deck for an ally asset and play it, reducing its cost by X. X is the cost of the ally asset returned to your hand. Shuffle it in your deck. And this is again where like it combos really well with Medical Student. I can get Medical Student out for 1, then use this. I can pull out Mitch. I can pull out Sled Dogs, for the discount. Find the cards that I really want, and of course I can recur Medical Student and keep healing. So stand together. So this is definitely a difference than originally I used. Uh, Watch this as my resource card, and I wasn't hitting it consistently. Stand Together is just a really good resource card. That's the choose another investigator location. Both you and that investigator gain 2 resources. And I think the upgraded Stand Together is just bonkers. To draw 2 cards, 2 resources. And I will be upgrading into that. Just need ways to get through the deck, and that's so useful. So I'll be definitely upgrading this. But yeah, this is a good place to start. All right, and then I have the Daring, which gives you 3 wild icons for attack or evasion, and you give the enemy retaliate, an alert for the duration of the test. After it ends, you draw 1 card, and that's whether you succeed or fail. Just a really good, like I need to hit a test, and I was already talking about how I want to make sure I can over succeed on test. So both Daring and Overpower will help with that. So we have Overpower, that's just the good old 2 combat icons, max 1 committed per skill test. If it's successful, draw 1 card. Yeah, I mean, just bread and butter, good card. Perception, same thing. Use this to help, again, with the flashlights, he can be going at, lower the shot by 2 and then going at 5. Good stuff. Finally, Vicious Blow. It's a skill card. Commit it. Get +1 damage. I mean, we know it. We love it. It goes into every Guardian deck I ever build, except for maybe Carolyn. All right, and then so Bot and Blood is his weakness. So you just have to discard an ally asset you control from play, or discard each ally asset from your hand. If no assets are discarded by this effect, you shuffle it back into your deck. It's usually annoying, but not too terrible. I mean, if I have to discard a Sled Dog or a Medical Student or whatever, I'm fine. Michael Lee would probably not want to discard him, but usually you have options if you're running enough allies in your deck. Finally, his weakness that he drew was Day of Reckoning. Attach Day of Reckoning to the current agenda, then search the Chaos Bag for the Elder Sign token and seal it on Day of Reckoning. Yeah, that's it's really, these aren't 2 investigators that really care about their Elder Signs that much. I mean, Jax hardly ever actually does anything other than succeed. And Leo, search for 3 cards for an ally. Sometimes you find it, but it's not a big loss. So this is actually pretty good. This is, there could be a lot worse weaknesses. So, all right, so that's Leo. Let's take a look at Jack. All right, so here we have Monterey Jack. He is a 1 willpower, and that I'm sure will matter. Intellect 4, Combat 2, Agility 5, Health 8, Sanity 6. And he has a trigger at the end of your turn. If you started this round at 1 location away from your current location, either gain 1 resource or draw 1 card. If you started this round 2 or more locations, so you do both instead. His Elder Sign effect Elder Sign's effect is +1. If you started this round 1 or more locations away from your current location, gain 1 resource, draw 1 card. Which usually doesn't go off in my experience. He's one of these transformation or morphing investigators that starts off as rogue and takes a handful of seeker cards, but then really levels up into seeker. So he can take so really those 5 rogue card or seeker cards are really important. Yeah. I'll just go ahead. He's also taking In the Thick of It, and it's important because that will allow him to grab some of those key seeker cards right away. It's good in almost all of these Edge of the Earth investigators. I don't run In the Thick of It in every deck now, but I do love it in these Edge of the Earth ones because it just helps you get more quickly to the, deal with the limited slots for the class that they're actually really going to play like. I'll also mention that this is an Underworld support deck. It's a permanent, limit 1 per deck, purchase deck creation. Your deck cannot include more than 1 copy of each non-weakness or non-signature card by title. Reduce your deck size by 5. So they're all singletons in this deck, but we'll go through them faster because the deck is smaller. I really like it in Jack. I think with the Lucky Cigarette case and secret cards, he can draw really fast and you can just recur your biggest, most important cards. And it helps you run, there's cards that you don't want to pay XP for, 4 twice and just get one of them, this will help you do that. So we got a large cards to get through, so we're not having 2 ofs any of these. All right, so Fingerprint Kit. This is just a good card for clue acceleration, one of his clue acceleration options. It does 3 supplies. You can exhaust it, spend the 1 supply. You get +1 intellect for this investigation. If you succeed, discover 1 additional clue at your location. Can be a little slow. It's got a high cost, and I mean it takes an action to put into play, so it's not as much action compression as you'd like. But it does take supplies, and it's my intention to upgrade my emergency cache to be able to put more supplies on this, so that we can just keep it going. And then can easily clear out a lot of locations in 2-player with just a single use of the Fingerprint Kit. 2 clue locations, so that's good. Okay, flashlight. So I'll say one of the struggles with Monterey Jack is intellect. It's 4 intellect. He's not a 5 intellect investigator, and you really want him to be able to get clues. So you need ways to boost his intellect, or in this case, flashlight lowers the shroud, but it's effectively the same thing. So I've already talked about flashlight and Leo. We're going to run one of here in Monterey Jack. And again, this is kind of like when you're playing these underworld support decks, you need like redundancy and multiple solutions or multiple cards that do kind of the same thing. So flashlight and magnifying glass obviously share a similar space. Okay, so this is one of the, it might seem weird. Wait, why are you spending your in the thick of it XP on magnifying glass? Well, because it lets me get effectively another seeker card. It's really good. I want to run magnifying glass in him. I want him to be able to get that passive intellect boost. It's fast. You get +1 while investigating. And this reduces the cost to 0. That's not the big deal. And if there are no clues at your location, return magnifying glass to your hand. Sort of a big deal, because it lets me potentially put his whip into play, and then get this back later when I'm done fighting. So there are some times I would want to do that. But mainly, I just wanted to be able to take a magnifying glass and a bunch of other seeker cards. So spending 1 XP to get this right off seems good to me. Again, just need a lot of boost to his intellect. All right, Trusty Bullwhip is his signature. It's fast, and it costs 2, and it kicks a hand slot. Action fight, you use agility instead of combat. If it succeeds, you may exhaust it to either automatically evade the attack enemy or deal +1 damage for this attack. So if you succeed, you're going to do damage. And it doesn't have to be unexhausted to use this. You can hit this even after it's been exhausted. But you can do extra damage, with the exhaust, or you could do the evade. And both of those are kind of useful options. And of course, he's got a 5 agility, so he's pretty happy to be able to using his agility to fight. So really good. It's fast, so you can just pop it out right when you need it. It will obviously overwrite these other hand slots, but you could pop the magnifying glass out, use the whip, and then put it back in if you need to. Accessory, lucky cigarette case. Yeah, we already looked at this in Leo. Succeed by 2 or more, exhausted, draw 1 card. Yeah, I want to draw. I mean, it's good card draw, and he should be able to, if you get his intellect high enough, he's going to be able to smash test, and he can beat test with his agility as well. Good old Dr. Milan Christopher. So after you successfully investigate, gain 1 resource, gives you a passive intellect boost. It costs 4, soaks 2 horror, 1 sanity. Or sorry, he's got 1 health, 2 sanity. And the taboo on this is that you have to exhaust him, so you can't do this every turn. He's still good, even with the exhaustibility. So it's, just again, passive intellect boosts are really good. And of course, money doesn't hurt. Gregory Gry is just a really solid ally. Costs 3, has 9 resources. When you initiate it, spend up to 3 resources from Gregory Gry. If it succeeds by at least that amount, gain that many resources. He can be almost like a drip Milan without the intellect boost. I'll be replacing him very, very quickly with Janae, who will also give an intellect and an agility boost. So, but for now, it's a good level 0 option. Obviously, we have conflict in these slots, but Gregory Gry is the kind that you can use up and then just kick him out with the ally that you actually want to run. So you've got the Death Tarot card. It goes to Tarot slot, and if you have it in your opening hand, you can put it into play. It gives you the +1 intellect, and it's just part of my solution. It's 1 XP. It's one of the things I bought in the thick of it. And yeah, I mean, if I can have this, magnifying glass, and Milan, that's a lot of intellect boost. help him and do well. So yeah, that's what that's for. Hiking boots. I actually didn't originally have this. I was gonna run the Eon chart, and the Eon chart is really good in him, and I do plan on running it. But I started thinking about the first scenario, and I think this is really good for the first scenario. So first of all, it's cost 2, it's XP 1, it's limit 1 footwear per investigator. Not a lot of conflict there, and he gets +1 agility, which is good. Brings him up to 6. That helps with his whip, helps with um, evading if he needs to, and there's actually some other things we're running that are agility based, so that's good. But then also, after the last clue is discovered your location, you exhaust it, move to a connecting location with at least 1 clue, or to a connecting unrevealed location. So yeah, there's a lot of things in Edge of the Earth where you're just gonna get all the clues and move on, get all the clues, move on, and this will help save action. So it's pretty good for that. So it's easy to forget that it has to have a clue and or be unrevealed. So the first time I played this, I was all the time misplaying it, going to locations that had no clues, and you can't do that. And I play with other players who've done that. So, all right, I've got a plan. So this was actually a last minute addition. I switched this right at the end of my deck building, and I was actually just about to load up and go with a different card, but actually I realize that he really does need to be able to fight. I'm making Leo flex, and I need Monterey Jack to be able to flex. And, I've got a plan, can easily be 4 damage. So, yeah, I love just the name of the card. I think it's a great card. But it's a really solid Seeker card, and it eats up a Seeker slot, and I'm probably going to upgrade this because the upgrade is really good. But, yeah, I wanted to be able to do 4 damage is going to be useful. There's a big, like, 9 health enemy in the first scenario, so this can definitely help with that. So anyway, cost 3. It's you use intellect, and you do +1 damage for this attack for each clue you have. So if you're running around with like a bunch of clues, you can do max +3 damage, which is a 4 damage attack. Really, really good card. All right, you handle this one. Fast. Play after you draw a non-parallel encounter card, but before resolving its effects, choose another investigator. That investigator is considered to have drawn that encounter card instead. Gain 1 resource. So yeah, this is good for handing willpower uh, encounter cards off to Leo, who's got the 4 willpower, because Monterey is not passing willpower tests. All right, we got ye old Backstab, which is like the rogue version of I've Got a Plan. You fight, use agility instead of combat, which is going to be good with his 5 agility or 6 if he has the hiking boots out. Deals +2 damage, so it's a 3 damage attack. Just good, take a 3 health enemy off the board. So we got Elusive, this taboo version. A fast play on your turn, disengage from each enemy with you and move to a revealed location with no enemies. It's now tabooed to disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a connecting location with no enemies. So it's a connecting location now. A really good card, fast move. He loves movement tech because helps him get cards and resources. Emergency cash. It's cost 0, gain 3 resources, old standard. Yeah, I mean, just making sure we can pay for stuff. But the ultimate goal is I'm going to upgrade this into Emergency Cash level 3, which would then put 4, supplies on the Fingerprint Kit and just have them fingerprinting for days. And it's definitely not necessary to level, go from Emergency Cash into Emergency Cash, but it's something that it just keeps my mind straight of what the intentions of this deck are doing. So I sometimes do like to run level 0 versions in order to, as a placeholder for like the upper level versions. Scout ahead. It's cost 1, 2 agility icons, move up to 3 times. Enemies do not engage you during this movement. I mean, he just loves to move and go get stuff. I mean, this is gonna get a card and a resource back at the end of around his turn if he uses this. So good. I mean, shortcut. Who doesn't love shortcut other than Scott? Blast. Play during only during your turn. Choose an investigator location. Move that investigator to connecting location. Just solid card. And of course, this again turns into a resource or a card in Jack. So, sneak attack. Deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy or location. I mean, he can easily evade and then play the sneak attack. So, it's 2 actions to get 2 damage, but not terrible. All right. And actually, he could use his whip, I suppose, and evade it and do a damage, and then hit with a sneak attack, take out a 3 health enemy. So that's nice. All right, sneak by. This is 2 agility icons, cost 0, and then when action begins, gain 2 resources. So it just pays to evade people. Economy card. Probably won't leave it in forever, but the agility icons help too because you can commit it to agility tests he's taking. Watch this. Economy card, commit only to a skill test you are performing. As additional cost to commit, watch this. The skill test spend up to 3 resources. If you succeed by 1 or more, gain twice that many resources. So it's just a good card for, I'm going to evade. And I mean, he probably isn't using the willpower of the combat, but hey, being able to evade and get paid for it, it's good. All right. Cunning. This is a card I don't run very much, but he tends to be resource heavy, especially when he gets Milan out. While you have 5 more resources, it gains agility and intellect, and he gets 2 of those if you have 10 or more resources. I mean, those are just stats he cares about, so, being able to get more of them, good. All right, deduction. If it's successful while investigating a location, discover 1 additional clue. I mean, skill card. I have seen a lot of people say that they won't run this in level 0 Jack because they want to be able to run the upgraded deduction. And I guess there's just like this bad feeling around like replacing your 5 splash that you get to splash. But I really don't care. I mean, it's a really good card. I really want it from the beginning. And if I end up without my 5 splash, at the end of the campaign, I mean, it's still deduction's a great card, and there is a sense in which I don't always upgrade deduction in two-handed games because most of your clues, getting 3 clues at once with the upgraded deduction, I mean, it's not all that, it's a rare occurrence. I mean, usually, you get plenty of value out of just level 0 deduction. But, the even, you don't want to sleep on even the boost with the 2 icons that you get on deduction. So I probably will upgrade it at some point. Manual dexterity, bread and butter, committed to a test, draw 1 card, 2 agility icons. We're doing stuff with agility. We can, Trusty Bullwhip, we can, backstab, when we evade. It's just good stuff. Nimble, again for agility test, after it succeeds, after it resolves, you can immediately move to a connecting location to a maximum of 3 times. So that's really good. He likes movement tech. He can get paid for that, so that's good. Perception. We looked at this already in Leo's deck, but yeah, commit it. 2 icons, successful, draw 1 card. I mean, he's going to be doing investigates, and card draw is good. Quick thinking. It's again, this is a tabooed one. It has 1 wild icon. If it's successful by 2 or more after it resolves, you immediately take an action as if it were your turn. It does not count towards the number of actions you can take each turn, but it does gain once per round, which isn't a big deal. I mean, I'm not running multiples of these, unfortunately. It feels real bad in Silas that we have that restriction now. You can thank Amanda for this, but anyway, which she can't take this card normally, but you can versatile for it, and then you can put it under her and like go infinite and stupid stuff like that. So that's why we have this taboo. All right, and then finally, Unexpected Courage. I don't really run Unexpected Courage in that many decks anymore, but I mean, it does give. I mean, it's going to be a way to help, pass agility tests, pass intellect tests, whatever. In these underworld support decks, like you just want to be, you throw a lot of cards in there. You have to come up with a bunch of different cards you want, and Unexpected is just all around good card. I don't know that I'll stick with it for the campaign, but it's good for now. So, all right, well, those are our investigators, Jack and Leo. I hope you will come and watch the campaign as I get started. Until then, I will see you next time on Winging It.